Alison Luber here with Christian Deering with your 1 o'clock news on Channel 28.
We have breaking news. A teenager traveled to the Congo and came back with an unknown disease. We have more in this emerging story. Thank you, Allison. I'm standing here in front of Alameda Hospital, where the teenager with the mystery disease is currently being held. He recently went on a safari to Africa, and when he returned, he started developing symptoms. He said he wasn't feeling well during the last stretch of the trip. I have him for more questions. Hello, Simon. Can you tell me more about the symptoms you've been experiencing?
Hi, so after my recent trip to Africa, I came back with throbbing headache, fever, and nauseousness. At first I thought it was just being jet lagged, but actually my doctor said it's a flu. Thank God it's not contagious, otherwise it would really suck for you.
Yes, thankfully it's not contagious. And we'll have more on this developing story. Back to you, Ellison.
Thank you, Christian. I've just been told that we have gotten in contact with Simon's doctor. The doctor who is behind Simon's case has figured out the disease. It is the Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. More on this via a Skype call with Dr. Egan Chu.
Hello, I'm Dr. Chu, and we have just received the data from the labs and have diagnosed the disease as the Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. The Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever has caused several severe viral fever outbreaks. It is primarily transmitted through ticks, livestock animals, and human-to-human transmission is also possible through the contact of blood, organs, and bodily fluids from infected persons. We've also closely examined Simon's body and have found tick bites all over his left ass cheek.
I'm Dr. Luber. CCHF is an old pandemic that we've seen in the past. A pandemic is an epidemic disease that has spread across populations over vast areas such as continents or even globally. A pandemic is not to be confused with an endemic, which describes illness that is contained within one population without intervention being intervened. An endemic therefore refers to disease that can be kept under control with regard to how many people it can infect. Pandemics, on the other hand, have posed the most fatal threats to mankind throughout history, having claimed the lives of more people than all accidents and wars combined.
Thank you for your time to be here, Dr. Yu and Dr. Deering.
Thank you for having us.
Now, for all the viewers watching, can you please give us a rundown of how the immune system works?
Of course. To start off, the immune system is so complex we're still discovering new things about it each day, but we do have a good idea. Usually a virus can slip in relatively undetected. However, when a virus starts causing noticeable damage to the body, this is where the macrophage will step in and usually take care of the infection without you even noticing. However, with CCHF, it's a bit different. The pathogenesis of all hemorrhagic fevers are essentially the same. It directly attacks the immune system. It attacks the dendritic cell first, which is known as the brain of the immune system. CCHF tricks the cell to look like an antigen, and it binds to the surface of the dendrite, and then is absorbed by the cell. So once the norovirus is inside the cell, it dissolves the membrane and releases nuclear proteins, genetic material, and enzymes. This takes over the cell, and once the cell has no resources left, it dissolves the dendrite, releasing thousands of viruses to do this over and over again throughout your body.
Oh no, this all sounds really bad for the body. There is fail-safes put in place to stop all this, right?
Well, under normal circumstances, yes. But in this case of norovirus, the cells made to kill the infected immune cells are themselves killed before they can do their job. Even worse, norovirus attacks macrophages and monocytes, the guard cells of the immune system, and controls them to make them release fluids everywhere in the body all at once. This also is known as widespread edema. At this point, neutrophils are activated, which are not supposed to be even involved in a viral infection, causing even more inflammation. As a final last-ditch effort, the immune system releases a cytokine storm, or in simple terms, launches everything the immune system has at the virus all at once. While this hurts the virus, it leaves behind a lot of collateral damage to the body, mostly in the blood cells and the cardiovascular system. As more fluid leaves the bloodstream, you begin to bleed out of every opening available. At this point, if you're still alive, your chance of survival is about 30%.
My God! Are we all going to die from this?
Luckily for us, there are medications that have shown some efficacy in treatment, but there is no vaccine to prevent this virus.
Thank you, Dr. Deering. Now moving to his colleague, Dr. Simon of Epidemiology. Dr. Yu, can you tell us a little about the branch of epidemiology?
Epidemiology is the study of distribution and determinants of health-related states and events, including diseases, and application of the study to the control of diseases and other health problems. It's really like playing a science detective sometimes, investigating where a virus starts and who and when it starts from.
Are there any big agencies you collaborate with?
Yes, we do. Epidemiologists help to keep the public informed of methods to maintain and improve public health. That being said, we work at universities and government organizations including the CDC, which is the Center of Disease and Control, National Institute of Health, and the WHO, which is the World Health Organization.
What is your view of the Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever that has now made its way to the U.S.?
It is surprising. I think it's important for all travelers to take special precautions when traveling overseas or internationally, to be honest, because other countries obviously have different environments and climates, so it's likely that a vacation, people may come up with something. And that is why it's critical to be aware of what you eat, where you sleep, and what you wear, and where you go. As for the CCHF, this is specifically dealt with the study of viral epidemiology. Viral epidemiology is a study of incidence and spread of viruses in populations over time. Host, virus, and environmental factors are monitored to determine the dynamics of viral infections, the ultimate goal of which it is to devise intervention strategies.
I see. So tell me, what are the risks to exposure to CCHF?
Well, animal herders, livestock workers, and slaughterhouses workers in endemic areas are at risk of CCHF. Healthcare workers in endemic regions are at risk of infections through unprotected contact with infectious blood and bodily fluids. Individuals and international travelers with contact to livestock in endemic regions may also be exposed.
Any prevention tips you can give us?
Well, from this particular case of a tick-transmitted disease, agricultural workers and others working with animals should use insect repellent on exposed skin and clothing. Insect repellents containing DEET are the most effective in warding off ticks. Wearing gloves and other protective clothing is recommended. Individuals should also avoid contact with blood and bodily fluids of livestock or humans who show symptoms of the infection. It is important for healthcare workers to use proper infection control precautions to prevent occupational exposure.
All right, that is about all the time we have for you two. Thank you, Dr. Deering and Dr. Yu, once again for chatting with us. Now, back to the studios.
An important safety measure is the CDC warnings. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention often puts out travel advisory warnings in high-risk areas. It is up to the people to adhere to these warnings.
Good point, Phil Anchorman. Another way the CDC keeps us safe is when they place checkpoints in airports to stop potentially infected people from entering the United States and beginning the plague.
That's it.
Okay.
Stop it.
cells. Paradoxically, the healthier the immune system, the more damage it can do to itself. More and more fluid leaves the bloodstream. Blood pours out of every opening of the body. You become seriously dehydrated. There's just not enough blood left to supply the organs with oxygen, and cells begin to die. If you reach this point, the chance of you dying is very high. Currently, 6 out of 10 infected die from Ebola. Wow. Okay, Ebola is nasty. So it's time to panic, right? No, not even close. The severity of Ebola gets papers sold and YouTube videos shared, so everybody is talking about Ebola. But currently, the only way to get infected by Ebola is to come into contact with the bodily fluids of a person who shows symptoms or from an infected bat. So, just don't do that. Ebola has killed 5,000 people since June 2014. The common flu kills up to 500,000 people each year. Malaria kills up to 1 million each year. 3,000 people every single day, 10 children since this video started. So, even if Ebola is terrible and scary, don't let yourself be scared. The most infectious thing about Ebola is the media hype around it. You could learn a bit more about the immune system though.